Hey, what's up guys? I'm Mr. Chris with Infotainment.com. Today I'm in a 2022 Ford Explorer. This is actually going to cover 2020 through 2024. All vehicles with 8-inch and 10-inch factory screens, this is going to work for you. This is the 12-inch Sync 4 retrofit. This is coming from a Sync 3 8-inch. This also works from the Sync 3 10-inch, like I mentioned earlier. This is going to give you wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto capabilities, as well as a whole host of upgrades over the Sync 3 platform. This system is pre-programmed to your VIN. You don't need any programming, just the kit that we supply, do the install, and you have this massive upgrade. If you want to see how I did this, you're going to want to stick around. All right, so where we're gonna start is not actually at the screen. We're gonna start by pulling the APIM out. The APIM is located right behind our climate control bezel and audio controls. So in order to get this off, we have a little pick tool. There's a plastic panel back here that we have to remove, and there's two 7mm hidden behind that panel. So they're kind of deep in there. So what I have is, this is already a long 7mm. Not quite long enough, so I have my little adapter here. Plus this is magnetic, so it's not gonna go falling in the dash anywhere. But let's start by pulling that little plastic panel out, which if you look on the top of either the left or the right side, you'll see a little notch cut into there. Oops. You can stick your little pick tool in there and rotate it a little bit, just pull straight towards you, and that'll pull those little clips out. And now you can see the two 7mm that are deep in there. That's where this extension comes in clutch. Now we're ready to pull our climate control and audio controls out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift this little insert right here up. You can see some 7mm in here on this top little cubby right here. You don't have to remove that right now. I'll show you a little later what we're gonna do with that. For now, I'm just gonna stick my panel tool on the side of the dash here. Now be careful, this is soft trim dash. This isn't hard or rigid dash. So if you have a really small pry tool, you can damage this. So I like using a really wide flat blade. It leaves zero mars in this dash material. So I'm just gonna do this on both sides. Once you have that pulled back, there's some plugs back here. Go ahead and disconnect all of these plugs. We'll set this aside. All right, now you can see with our bezel removed, we have access to our APIM right here. What I'm actually gonna do is pull all the connections before I pull the screws. So this top connection right here is a lever style connection where you pull that lever over and it pushes the connector out. Right next to it is your hub cable, and this is where this little pick tool is also going to come in handy. You depress that clip and just pull straight back. And I'm going to set this aside. Don't tuck it too far away because we're going to have to reuse that. And below that we have our LVDS cable and a blue Fakra. And the easiest way I found to remove these is with the aid of a long needle nose pliers. So the Fakra, I'm just gonna squeeze that clip down, pull straight back. Now the LVDS has a little clip on there, so I'm gonna depress that clip with my pick and I'm gonna pull straight back with the needle nose. There we go. Move some of these wires out of the way, get you a better view of that T20 right there. So there's one on the passenger side, and if you go over to the driver's side, you have one way down here and one up high. So that's 3 screws total holding this APIM on. And again, I'm using a magnetic tip and a little extension, but these still can get away from you, so be careful with these guys. You're gonna reuse these as well. And you can see our APIM just fell right out, which is perfect. We're not going to use this anymore. Set this aside. All right, next up is this little panel right behind our screen. You can get your same panel tool here. This should pop up pretty easily. Just a couple of clips holding that one on as well. And then once that's up, you're going to expose 3 8mm bolts back here. You can go ahead and pull all 3 of those. All right, now with those 3 bolts removed, the screen is basically just held in with some clips. Just pull straight back. Gonna pop that screen free. Like earlier with that LVDS cable, you have a little clip right here. We're basically gonna depress that clip and try to pull up at the same time. There we go. Be patient, you don't want to rip that thing off of the back of your screen. And now with that screen up, you can actually see those 3 7mm that I mentioned earlier. We will remove these, not for the reason that you think, but we will remove these, not to pull off completely, but to help running that new wire down. We actually have to replace this wire with the one that's included with the kit. So let's go ahead and pull those 7mm out now. All right, once those screws are out, what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna pull this trim panel that's running down our dash, which that same panel tool, this whole thing is just held in with some clips. You can just go in on that seam, pop all the way down, and this actually comes out really easy also. Now this center portion that holds your vents, I'm gonna pull this straight out. And when you're pulling this straight out, you wanna start from the passenger side. The driver side is actually lipped underneath your cluster bezel here, but you should be able to snap that whole thing free. There's nothing else holding this on. We can set this aside. So basically we went ahead and pulled all these panels just to give us access to the right side of this little cubby right here. All we need to do is pop this little cubby up, and that is to aid running our LVDS cable. Now there is another way you can do this. You can unclip your factory LVDS cable, kind of reroute the whole thing out and then the new one up in there. But this is tightly in there. It's going above metal, so it's actually pretty complicated to get that out. I found this is the easiest way to do this, is you route this around your little cubby, and you want to leave it with enough slack where it kind of looks like your OEM LVDS cable. And the bottom side of this LVDS, you can stick through this hole up here underneath your tray, pull that slack through. It doesn't need a whole bunch, you just need it to reach where the new APIM is going to be installed and that LVDS port, which is on the right side. So it really doesn't need a lot, but once you have that routed up there, you can go ahead and pop your tray back down. Make sure it's not getting in the way of that wire. Now we're pretty much good to go. We can move forward with installing our APIM. Once all this is buttoned back up on the bottom, we have all the harnesses in, we can just basically throw everything back together and install our new screen. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting the top panels back together. We'll install our APIM. So let's move forward with the install. All right, we got the new APIM in hand, and these things install upside down, but I find the easiest way to get this in there is to start with a single screw. I basically put it in the APIM to kind of hang on to it. I'll feed this back towards where it needs to go. I'll guide the screw in with the tip of my drill. Just like that. You can imagine if I were just to hold this and try to put that screw in with my fingers, you're kind of limited with the kind of area that you're working with. So that's probably your best bet, just to stick that screw on there, guide the screw in. There you go. And you're just gonna do that for all three and we should be good to go. All right, now we can go ahead and reinstall all of our connections. Obviously, this is the new one that we ran down here. The original one is off to the side down here, this blue one. We're not gonna use that. We'll route this one down to where it needs to go and plug that in. There we go. And then we have our USB connection that we pulled earlier. Get that plugged back in. That blue Fakra all the way at the bottom. And then lastly, we have our main harness here. This is where we're gonna grab our conversion connection or conversion cable that's included with your upgrade. We'll get that slid on, and then we'll slide the other end into place. Make sure that that lever is in the outwards or downwards position before you slide it in there, because it will fight you the whole way. All right, and once you get it lined up, as you push it in, that lever should start to suck itself in. Slide it all the rest of the way to lock it in place, and you're good to go. We'll just tuck all this slack away. All right, and this single cable right here with the 2 wires on it, it actually says mates the 12-inch display. We'll get this routed up and over, basically following this LVDS cable up to where our screen needs to be. So we're gonna go back through that hole. back around here. And then snap it back into place. Once this little tray is back into place, what you want to do is make sure that all 3 of these holes are clear. So you're going to want to look down in there and make sure that you see the metal nuts that's in here to mate to that screw. If there's any kind of wire or harness in between that hole, you want to pop this back up, rearrange that wire so these holes are free and clear, because you don't want to put a screw down there and go right through your harness. Just something to keep in mind. All right, now we can just go ahead and put our dash back together, basically in reverse order. And I'm going to start with these 3 7mm screws. And like I said earlier, this edge right here lips up underneath your cluster bezel. I'm going to feed our wires right through here before I get started. And then I'm basically going to line up that bottom edge first. Once it's lined up, everything else should just snap into place. A little tip with this panel, you can see on the dash here there's 2 slots. The one up top is more like a hook. The one on the bottom is your clip. So when you're getting this in there, you kind of want to feed the top in first. And then you can snap your clips in on the bottom. All right, now we're ready for our climate control bezel. Make sure to plug all the plugs back in. And then when you're sliding this back into place, up top can be a little weird just because there's a lot going on up here, but there is alignment pins at the very, very top, and you want to make sure that you get the top lined up as best as you can, because if you push it into the wrong position and then you go to snap it in place, you'll snap those pins off at the top. All right, takes a little finagling, but once you get it all lined up, it'll pop right into place. Now we can go ahead and move forward with our screen. We'll throw the 2 screws back in way at the bottom, and that's pretty much a wrap for this install. All right, now last step before we snap our new screen in, we have to take our original screen, take these little white clips off, which they pop off fairly easily. You have a little flathead or a little pick tool. Should be able to kind of finagle these right off of there. They're just kind of clipped into here. You'll swap it over to your new screen. Do this at all 4 corners. Then we can go ahead and snap our new screen in. All right, so we have our clips swapped over. Before I go ahead and set this up there, plug our wires in, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna route these just to make it a little easier to snap our screen into place. So the pink LVDS cable, I'm actually gonna route this around this bracket, just like this. I'm gonna try and fish it up to about there. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just kind of tucking that wire. Clip is gonna be top side. This wire is gonna go straight into the back of our screen, and then we have to fish that bolt in right around the wire. So this is kind of eliminating all that extra slack that we'd have coiled up in here, so we can kind of clear shot get that bolt screwed in to secure our screen. The same thing with the power side of our harness. I'm going to route this around the side, tuck it right back in there and up into place right there. That way it's all nice and neat back here. This original wire I'm actually going to tuck away straight back. Like I said, you can remove that if you want to, but it's not necessary. All right, and like I said, this is pretty much a straight shot back here. So as long as you line up the connectors in there, you should be able to push it in, no problem. Once you get it lined up, if you're having trouble pressing it all the way in place, you can use a little flathead or something, but it should be all right. There we go. Now we'll slide this into place and snap it in. All right, so we got it all clipped into place. All we have to do is put the 3 8mm bolts back in the back to secure it, and then we'll put our little cover piece back up top, and the screen will be all securely installed. All right, and the last piece of this puzzle is our little cubby liner. We got that in place. The install is all wrapped up. Looks great. Let's try it out. All right, one thing I wanted to add before we turn it on is this whole upgrade is pre-programmed to your vehicle, so there is no post-installation programming required. So once the install is done, you are pretty much good to go. So let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, and you can see right off the bat just how massive of a display this is. Major upgrade from the smaller screens, the 10-inch and the 8-inch. I went ahead and pre-connected both of my phones. I have an Android and an Apple phone. So here's my wireless Apple CarPlay. Major upgrade from the Sync 3 that was in here prior that needed that wired connection. Let's go ahead and swap to my Android so you can see what that looks like. All right, we have our Android Auto pulled up. Everything you know and love about Android Auto right at your fingertips. This integrated maps in your Android Auto. You can bypass and use the built-in navigation that's built into the Sync 4 radio. This Sync 4 navigation is a major refinement over the Sync 3 navigation. They've improved the user interface drastically over the prior generation. All right, so we went ahead and pulled outside just to give you guys a little showcase of what the rear view camera looks like. This vehicle actually has 360 camera, and as you can see, just from this larger format screen, we have such an impressive display now of our 360 image. This little rear view image all by itself is almost as big as the entire screen that we had in here before. So just from the rear view camera safety aspect, you're getting a massive upgrade.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, Infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.